In today's world, where companies are investing heavily into cutting edge technology and training their employees, it has become extremely imperative for employers to protect their market positioning, strategic proprietary information, as well as employee related investment. An often used methodology for the same are the inclusion of restrictive covenants in the employment documentation. Given constantly evolving employment practices in this regard, the Indian judiciary has in the recent times passed certain rulings which impact the enforceability of such restrictive covenants. The restrictive covenants could broadly be divided into two categories: one which operate during the term of the employment, and the other which operates post the term of the employment. For the former, best example would be employment bonds, which are typically contractual arrangements between the employer and the employee, requiring the employee to serve the employer for a predetermined period of time. And in case of breach thereof, there is a predetermined penalty that is applicable to the employee. The Supreme Court in the recent Vijaya Bank case has upheld the validity of such employment bonds, subject to they being reasonable in their tenure, operating only during the term of employment, and the penalty provided therein being reasonable and proportionate to the amount that the employer may have invested into the employee's development. The other aspect that the court also focused on was that when such bonds are entered into with full knowledge, willingness, and consent, it is no longer open to the employee to challenge the same under Section 23 of the Contract Act in terms of the consideration being unreasonable or also being in violation of Article 14 and 19 of the Constitution. Accordingly, employment bonds which are tailored carefully can be held to be enforceable in the courts of law. The post-employment terms or restrictive covenants are a different story altogether. In the recent judgment by the Delhi High Court in the Daffodil software case, the court followed the established trend of frowning upon post-employment non-compete restrictions and held them to be void on account of the fact that they, in today's competitive market, are a violation of Section 27 of the Contract Act and therefore will not be held to be valid. In light thereof, it is important that employers today focus on restrictive covenants which are applicable during the term of employment. They are reasonable in their duration and in their geographical extent. The amounts that are positioned therein as penalties or as damages are proportionate and reasonable as compared to the investments made by the employer. And as against post-employment non-compete or similar restrictions, employers could position themselves with carefully guarded and worded employment-related intellectual property documentation and or confidentiality-related documentation to protect their bona fide interests.